Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, or whatever time it is when you watch this. Today, we're going to talk about a trade that I took yesterday um, on SMIT. And if you look at the chart, this is something that would typically fit my preference or fit my comfort zone, but I actually ended up taking a loss on this. And this is because I picked a bias way too early. So I looked at SMET as a potential pre-market breakout. We had a perfect consolidation into pre-market or until open, and in the beginning the stock wasn't up too much. So I got stuck in that mindset of this being the perfect pre-market breakout, starting to visualize how this was going to like rip, or if it didn't, I'm just going to cut losses quickly. Of course, you gotta visualize both ways, so you have a plan. But ended up being stuck in that long biased mindset. I didn't um, I wasn't meticulous enough to look into the short side. So what this ended up being was that this was actually a perfect bounce short rather than a pre-market breakout. And the main thing that got me stuck in this thinking was that it had good odds, or it had good indicators. It had a low float, we had a low market cap, we had news of earnings. So like we got some good indicators that this was going to be a pre-market breakout. We also have two recent runners of pre-market breakouts that have been running, which also like boost up the odds that this could potentially do so. But the major thing that I think stopped this from running, of course, is the resistance of around 10 million that at open was actually a 17% away. And then like one of the most important things that I will look into and improve on until next trade, especially on these bounce short, is to look how far away is the potential resistance at market open. So from 374 or 375 before 47 is just 17% away. Also, as I was stuck in the mindset of being a pre-market breakout, because as I said, I thought that this was going to break out, and the main indicators that made me think that was all the technical stuff that I talked about, float and that stuff, but also the fact that the resistance level wasn't of major importance. It was only like 10 million. But something that I realized in hindsight is 10 million is a lot for a stock to break at market open, because then you need huge amount of volume coming out right at open, and that's not as likely as if this had been, I don't know, consolidated and then starting gaining more volume and breaking out in the midday or afternoon. That is a higher odd setup. So something else that I will take with me is that if we're seeing a potential test of the resistance in the morning, that is more bearish, because then you're going to need super much volume into the intraday trading. And sure, we can see that sometimes, but it's going to be harder than if it's like grinding up slowly and then breaking out, because then it has collected all these shares and this volume and the buying pressure. But one of the things that I also missed, or the things that I made a mistake with, was that I wasn't meticulous enough to check the intraday chart of the previous resistance, since I thought it's cool, it's too light and it's too far away, or too far away in time. But actually, if you look into it, you can only see a 5 minute chart since it's so far away in time preference. But you can see the most like consolidating or the most important resistance is of course the 4 area. The 4 area is a run number, it's psychology, but we also have this selling pressure and this high wick, which is also a very bearish sign because it indicates that okay, the buyers got the overtake of this 5 minute candle, but the bearish side was able to snap it right back. So that's a big bearish sign. So these two volume of selling is around like uh, 1.3 million, uh, which indicated that 1.3 million shares was sold around approximately. But then we also got these bag holders from this uptrend, and here we got even more. So um, in the end, there's a whole lot of bag holders around this area, and even though it's not like it's not 20 million resistance, but as I said before, as we're opening, you're 17% away from the resistance part. This is not likely to break out. But also something cool that I saw and that I like analyzed was that Dux waited this out. So and the major thing or the thought process, at least in my head, that made him wait this out was due to the fact that the, first off, the market cap and the float is low, so anything can happen. Um, but as I said, the odds are not favoring this breaking out since it's at morning open and we are 17% away. The second thing is the resistance volume. So the resistance volume isn't major, and therefore it could easily be broken. So even though I say that the odds is favoring shorts, you have to remember I'm saying this in hindsight, but also like as long as the resistance is low, it's much easier to be broken out because 10 million is um, like referred to as light resistance. So what I saw that he did was that he waited this out to see how it plays out, and also something that I wanna like give props to myself is due to the fact that I've been more short bias trader, I recognized that hey, this is not going to break out because I saw this first candle that just got stuffed, and then I saw the second candle also got stuffed and were kind of high volume. It's not something outrageous, but I saw it, and then I just decided to cut my trade. So um, to get back to the point of Duxus is that if you see a stock with low volume resistance and low float, that is a potential short, like a bounce short, just like this example. Rather than taking like position just as we're getting up, just to size in up towards um, this resistance level, you should rather wait and see how the stock plays out. Due to because as of the low float and the low resistance, as I've been saying like 12 times now, it's more likely to be broken than a higher volume float or a higher float stock with higher or bigger volume resistance. And to get back to the Dux point, where I talk about why I think Dux waited is out is just because the float is low. This could easily break out. It's a low resistance point. So I ended up taking a loss of 1.57%. I will of course verify this. So I ended up with a $6 loss plus commission, so $8. And now we're going to get into that positive mindset again, because until this time, I've been ranting up all the things that I've been making, like why this played out this way, um, and stuff like that. But something that I'm going to push on every single time is to turn your losers or wins into learning opportunities, because this is one of the greatest learning opportunities that I've got. I've gotten this kind of learning opportunity before with a similar trade, but this was much longer um, this was much earlier on in my trading journey. So this was a super good reminder not to get stuck with a bias on a trade. Always look at the long side of things and always look at the short side of things. So this was a perfect $8 learning opportunity. So basically, I paid $8 to learn this, and this is something. This lesson is super super good, and I also want to give props to me for using tiny baby size, because pre-market breakouts I only seen them 2 times now. So I'm not like super secure on the setup, so I didn't want to go like big. Um, so yeah, the main things to take away from this is always be meticulous as always. You should always be meticulous. Check every aspect that you can find. I did somewhat of a mistake, and that I can improve until next time to be more meticulous. I only looked at the long side of things. I got stuck in a bias. So second lesson is don't get stuck in a bias. Always think of the opposite side of the trade. Always think of your opponent and how he's or she is thinking. So if you're a long biased on a trade, you should think of the short biased traders. What are they seeing? And the opposite way around. The third thing that I'm going to take with is when I see a stock that is gapping up and getting closer and closer to that resistance point, and especially when it starts opening up at where you're just like somewhere from 25 percent away or 20% away from the resistance point, the odds are going to favor it being a short, um, due to the fact that we're going to see huge amount of volume in the market open unless the resistance point isn't going to be broken. And when we're seeing low float stocks or stocks with low volume, rather wait it out and let the chart tells you, because as we're trading, anything can happen. And I think that's it, guys. But like the positive things to take with this is remember that this is a learning opportunity. Always remember that. And also the fact that I recognize that, hey, this is not going to work out. Like my short quote unquote training or trading has really paid off, and that showed in this. The next step is to switch bias to be able to do that mentally, and that is going to take some time, I think, but eventually I'm going to do that. And what I mean by that is I was long on this, like long biased, but then further on, as I see this stuff happening, I can say, hey, this is not a long, it's a short. Why didn't I think of it from the beginning and then take a short position instead? So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. I challenge you to always speak out loud. I'm going to challenge you to do that on every single video now. I challenge you to recap your videos, take out your lessons, never see something negative. Always see it as an opportunity to refine and develop. If you take a big loss, cool. That's a more expensive lesson that you get. What can you learn from it? What did you do good? Um, did you do anything good? Of course, you did something good. If not within the trade, it's good now in hindsight that you recognize stuff and that you recognize your lessons. So always keep up the good work, guys. Stay positive and have a positive mindset to keep on getting positive results within your trading. Peace.